Welcome back to the Divine Path. So today I want to talk about our diet, you could call it, or our eating habits. What is the best foods to eat? Okay, and the truth about this whole fad of diets and everything. First of all, the word diet is it's not a word that I like. I mean, it literally has the word die in it. Why would you follow anything that has the word die in it? It's die with a T. That's the word diet. So, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that a lot of times these words, if you just look at them in plain text and break it down to the most simple thing, you can get something out of that. You don't have to think for hours about something. You don't have to think that in order to find the truth you have to go through all these hoops and it's got to be all complicated. Sometimes the best thing to do is keep it simple. So just bear that in mind if you're thinking about your diet, or what sort of diet should I go on. Well, you're saying the word die constantly. You're thinking it constantly. Now, as we talked about in my last video, the mind seems to create what we think about. Our mind is sort of a builder, is sort of a programmer of our future, right? So if we're thinking diet, we're always thinking die. That it's just connected. It might sound a bit silly. People might think that's a bit, that's a bit wacky, but, just bear that in mind. Alright, but anyway, what should we be eating, right? Should we be eating animals like these guys? These are dogs here. There's not many people in the world that eat dogs. Some do though. Okay, some do. In the Western world that is very frowned upon, but in parts of Asia, I'm talking in particular China, they eat dogs and they have a big dog eating festival where a load of people, I'm talking thousands of people get together and sell dogs and kill dogs on the street and eat them. I mean, that's sickening to me, but then again, we do eat cows. We do eat, cows and sheep and duck and chicken, and some of us eat pig, bacon, ham. We do eat a lot of meat, right? So is there a difference in that? Is there a difference? Should we be eating meat? Are we made to eat meat? Right? Some people would bring up the evolutionary theory. There's another topic I can talk about. Evolution versus creation versus whatever else you may believe. But yeah, some people will bring up evolution, say, yeah, we evolved from apes. right? So apes eat mainly a plant-based diet, so that's what we should eat. Mainly plants, mainly greens, greens and vegetables and some meat, right? Because that's what an ape would do. If an ape could get his hands on some meat, he would eat it. But he also eats a lot of greens. He mainly eats greens, right? Sometimes apes, they go out, they find, hold up a sec. Sorry about that. There was a cat. There was a kitten lying in the sun over there, enjoying the sun until one of my dogs tried to chase it. So I had to pause the video there, but yeah, a cat out in the wild, enjoying the sun. A kitten, actually. It was a small cat. But yeah, it got away, and that's good. It's in the bush somewhere, living it up in nature, right? So back to this topic. Yeah, what should we be eating, right? So if you believe in evolution, then you could take that, then you should take that side, right, of we evolved from apes. Apes mainly eat, greens, so our diet should be mainly greens and vegetables, and then some meat. Some other people say we've got that we're just straight omnivores, right? We can eat meat and vegetables and fruit, and we can eat anything. So just eat anything, okay? Some people say that we should be on a meat-only diet, 100% meat. Some people believe we should be eating raw meat, okay, so not even cook it, just raw meat. And then some people believe in, being vegan, having no animal products. Other people vegetarian, right, so no meat, but veggies and dairy and things like that. So what is the truth, right? What should we eat? Well, just a bit of background on myself. I've tried a little bit of everything. I grew up just eating anything, but some would say a balanced diet, right? My parents gave me a lot of vegetables and meat, right? We weren't well off, so we didn't always get the best meat. It was normally, mince or cheap meat, and like mashed potatoes with a few vegetables. That was a typical dinner. Like mince, mashed potatoes, and some mixed vegetables. That was a very, very typical dinner, and on top of that it was, whatever, sandwiches for lunch or something like that. Eggs on toast for breakfast, or just cereal. Beans on toast, things like that, just a mixed variation, a balanced diet, you could say. There's that word diet again. I need to remind myself not to use that word. But anyway, so what should we be eating? I heard someone recently make the statement that we shouldn't eat meat. And the reason why we shouldn't eat meat is not because, this person is really, one of these crazy vegans, right? I don't think all vegans are the same, or everybody that is on a carnivore diet is the same. They're not all the same. But this guy's vegan, this guy's plant-based. And the reason why is because he's coming from a place of that we shouldn't be consuming blood. We shouldn't be consuming what some call, I believe it's, what's the name of it? There's a name of for people that supposedly drink blood, or adrenochrome. I think they call it adrenochrome, where it's like if you kill someone. This is getting into some pretty spicy, some pretty dark sort of conversation here, but this is a rumor, and I'm not sure if it's true, but it's a rumor, it's out there, and I actually do believe this happens. People like elitists, you could call them, kill children or kill people and drink their blood like vampires do. And apparently they do this because they have this belief that it's the belief that's on the movie, what's that movie called? Doctor Sleep, I think it is. I think the movie's Doctor Sleep, where there are these people that live a long time, and the way that they live so long is they harm a child, right? And this power, that they only go after kids with a lot of power. I think they call it the shine. They go after these kids with the shine inside them, kids that are like a bit special, they're like really intelligent, or they've got some sort of, mind power, something like that. They go after these kids, and what they do is they harm these kids, they pin them down, they stab them, torture them basically, and they suck the shine, the life force out of this kid, and eventually the kid dies, and they just suck it all up, and it keeps them young, right? And this supposedly happens for real, not just in a movie. This supposedly happens for real. I mean, look at all the missing children in the world. There's been millions of missing children with no explanation, and this could be one of the explanations, that these kids are being kidnapped and killed, and having their blood drunk, having these sick individuals, these sick people, or whatever they are, right? Maybe they're not even people, maybe they're vampires, maybe they're whatever, but apparently they do this, they drink blood. I just realised I've gone on a bit of a tangent on a completely separate subject to what I'm talking about now, which is what we should eat. But adrenochrome is what I'm talking about. And anyway, the point is, this guy I was listening to was saying, well, if you're eating animals, that's what you're doing. You're drinking the blood of animals, that have been tortured, right? Which they have been in most places. In most places, animals are treated very poorly. You know, some places abused, some places they just cut their throats and let them bleed out in pain. And if you think about it, this is adrenochrome. We are eating the flesh of an animal that's been tortured, right? And again, it's a very dark topic, but it's something that, sort of made me stop and think and considered, maybe I shouldn't eat meat. Because this is right. You know what I mean? This is right. We do mistreat animals. We do put fear into them. And then we kill them and consume the meat. So are we in turn doing what these elitists are doing, which is consuming adrenochrome? It's something to consider. But other than that, in terms of what people eat, my honest opinion on this is it does not really matter. It does matter to a certain degree, but listen, there's people that are only eating meat that say they feel great. They feel lots of energy, they feel great, they work out, they're strong, they're healthy, whatever, right? Then you got vegans, people that eat no meat, that say they feel great on the diet, it's a life changer, so on and so forth. Then you got people that are just on a balanced diet, they eat good foods, maybe they eat only organic, like organic vegetables, and game killed meat, natural, a deer in the wild killed meat, as opposed to the meat that is in the supermarket that, gets drugs pumped into the cows and all that. So, that's another thing to consider when eating meat. But that's also the same with all processed foods, Basically what I think is the more you stay away from processed foods, the better. The less processed food you have, as in takeaway foods, pre-made patties, potato chips, chocolate, all this food that's processed, made in a factory, filled with sugar or filled with glucose and filled with all these chemicals to make it taste good. The more you stay away from that, I believe the better, because look at everyone, right? Back in the day it was very, very rare to be overweight, and now it's normal. What's changed? What's changed is way more people eat takeaways than ever before. 20, 30, 40 years ago, there used to be some takeaways, right? But takeaways were, there might be one takeaway shop in your town 30 years ago. So if you wanted takeaways, it was like, yeah, we'll go get takeaways from that one place in town once a week. Other than that, we're just getting, cooking all our own food at home, all homemade meals, right? The difference today is now it's, everywhere you go, every 10 minutes you drive, there's a McDonald's, right? So people are just constantly buying takeaways because it's very, very easy to get. Extremely easy. Like I say, you drive 10 minutes, there's a McDonald's. You go another 10 minutes, there's a Burger King or KFC, right? Kentucky Fried Chicken. You drive another 10 minutes, again, another McDonald's. And sometimes you live somewhere where you got a whole bunch of different choices. You've got 10 takeaway shops, 5 minutes from you. You know, of course it's easy to take that option and eat those foods all the time, and it's all processed foods, right? Not everything, some things are more healthy for you. You know, you can find places that do less processed foods and all that, but a lot of these places are fast foods. So my thing is, if you're looking at what you should eat, try to stay away from takeaways and processed foods. You know, if you're gonna eat meat, that's cool, but why get a burger when you can go to the supermarket or go to your local butcher or wherever, you know, and get some, you know, a couple of steaks, or, you know, this is what you should be, this is the type of meat that's going to be better for you than processed meat. In saying that, you know, also think about what I said about the adrenochrome, these animals being killed, tortured. You know, should we really be eating the flesh of an animal? I'm not sure. Right, but I think the most important thing is to try to stay away from the processed foods and the takeaways, which are processed foods. Right, you do that, you're going to be cutting out a lot of shit, a lot of absolute garbage in your diet. The other thing I think is worthwhile, and a lot of people are attesting to this, it's become sort of a fad because a lot of people are losing weight on this, feeling better, feeling good, you know, is fasting. You know, a lot of people have taken up fasting in recent years. This is 2023, I'm talking right now. A lot of people have taken up fasting, which all fasting is basically having a longer break between meals than you normally do. So instead of having breakfast, morning tea, then lunch and dinner, you know, instead of like eating throughout the day, snacks, instead of all that, you know, skip breakfast or just have something really small, you know, really small, or just have a coffee. You know, if you drink coffee or tea, wake up, have that, have some liquid, have a drink of water, and then don't eat till lunchtime. You know, so that way you've had your dinner the night before, you don't have breakfast, so you've let your body, in other words, the point of fasting is to let your body rest and digest the food that's already in your stomach, you know, like your dinner. If you've had your dinner, let your body rest for until the next day lunchtime, you know, and then have a lunch at 12 o'clock and let your body rest again up until about 5 o'clock. Have your dinner, you know, then you're just having 2 meals a day instead of 3. That's basically all fasting is having a long break between meals to let your body rest and digest, and yeah, this way you'll lose weight if that's one of your goals, and you won't be feeling as bloated. You won't have all this food constantly digesting in your stomach. I think those are the 2 keys. No matter what your diet is, no matter what you eat, no matter if you eat meat strictly or you eat vegetables only, you know, plant-based vegan, or if you eat both, or whatever you eat, if you can cut out the fast foods and the processed foods as much as possible, that's one thing. And then the other thing is fast. You know, don't eat as many meals, and don't eat, you know, huge meals. Just keep your meals compact, you know, not too much, not too little, and then don't eat as much. Don't have as many meals. Fast. Let your body rest and digest. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. What's worked for you? What sort of eating plan are you on? And have a good one.